Hey everyone, Gill Gross here, post-match. Taylor Fritz versus Jakub Mensik, Miami Open 2025 semifinals. If you're not here for spoilers, click off the video. It is Jakub Mensik, the 19-year-old, through to his first career Masters 1000 final with a third set tiebreak victory over Taylor Fritz, his second top 10 win of the week. He improves to 7-5 in his young career against top 10 opposition, and he is also into the top 30 in the live rankings. Come Roland Garros, we are likely looking at a teenager seeded. Pretty impressive stuff. This was pretty is an understatement. Super impressive stuff. You guys know how I feel about Jakub Mensik. I have been in on him since last February. But let's get into this particular match. Serve-centric, incredibly so. I felt like for a lot of it, like I was watching a match indoors at the ATP Finals in Torino with the way these first serves were just firing. The returners on both sides of the net were often just left powerless and answerless. It was a serve-dominant match. Jakub Mensik shakes hands the winner. He never broke Taylor's serve. But while serving was the flavor of the match, it was not the decider of the match. The decider of the match was actually 3 neutral baseline rallies, exchanges from the back of the court, 3 in a row, from 4-all in the deciding tiebreak. All 3 won by one Jakub Mensik. He won 3 in a row to finish off the match, and that was it. Like, razor-thin margins. What was going to decide this? There was nothing between the two. Lo and behold, these 3 baseline rallies where the serve had nothing to do with any of these rallies, Mensik won all 3. So let's do it. Let's dig into them in granular detail because it literally decided the match. At 4-all, this is a second serve look for Taylor Fritz on return. While Mensik's first serve is staggeringly good, his second serve is a weakness. I know, it's odd, but it's true. The second serve is slow, very attackable, and Mensik is really towards the bottom of the leaderboards on tour if you look at second serve win rate. Taylor does not do much with what is an attackable second delivery by Mensik. Now, Fritz listens to his coach, Michael Russell, who said, step to your left, make sure to hit forehands off the return. And Fritz did have a forehand, but he doesn't do much with it. He hits it decently hard, right into the middle of the court. It's more of a point starting return. So that right there was a missed opportunity. Fritz could have done more with this second return. Mensik on this first ball now has the opportunity to guide his forehand down the line. He's able to change direction because he's not really stressed by Fritz's return and set the rally in his preferred pattern, which is backhand to backhand. He likes the ad court. Taylor does too, but Mensik likes it even more. So he guides that first forehand down the line. Fritz hits a safe backhand trade cross court, and it looked like Taylor just expected to settle into a nice cross court exchange. Mensik, on the first backhand he gets, rips it down the line, precise for a winner. Jakub has tremendous control over his backhand. He changes direction exceptionally well. And he caught Fritz off guard here because Taylor thought, all right, I'm going to hit a backhand cross court. We're going to settle in. Mensik wasted no time. First opportunity, down the line right away. That is, what did we see in that rally? Jakub trusted his favorite shot, his best shot, backhand down the line. As soon as he got an opportunity to deploy it, he did. Taylor had his favorite shot on the return. He got to load up with time on his forehand, and he chose not to crack it. He chose not to release the venom. That was the difference at 4-all. All right, let's go to 4-5. This is this is another one. Fritz made a good first serve, had a chance to be really damaging on the +1 forehand, and he didn't quite let it go. He hit kind of big into Mensik's forehand, safe target, 85% pace. Just one of these balls where he's not going after it. He's trying to apply a little bit of pressure, certainly, but he's not really going after it. So Mensik again takes his forehand down the line off of that ball and sets the ad side pattern that he's looking for. Now, this exchange goes on for a long time. There are twists and turns. A lot of stuff happens. It's not important to go through everything that happens here, and it's just too much. I think this was like 25 balls, something like that. Again, long. But let's kind of fast forward here. Fritz hits a nice backhand down the line that draws a short ball. Some players would have taken this short ball and kind of ran through the forehand, probably hit an approach shot down the line. Fritz doesn't want to do that. He doesn't like to come to the net unless he has a golden opportunity to come forward. This was not that. So Fritz hits a big forehand cross court. Big, but nothing crazy here. Nothing that's going to put Mensik in real trouble. And then Taylor's going to retreat. So the ball is inside the court. Fritz has to hit and then move back because he wants to recover his position back behind the baseline. Mensik plays this next forehand right through the middle. Fritz is going backwards again, and that backwards movement might have been the difference because Fritz kind of lifts up on this next backhand a little bit too much, and it goes long by a hair. Now, this is the kind of miss you live with it. Nothing you can do. Sometimes you miss long by a teeny weensy bit. It happens. There's nothing to really be critical of here. But Fritz still played this point a bit safe. He played it safe. Did not go after the +1 forehand. He did not hit an approach shot on a short ball forehand when he could have if he was really confident in that particular play. And he just went hard at Mensik's forehand. Mensik's forehand, you want to rush it. It was very successful at points in the second set. That is the scouting report, but it held up. Jakub's forehand held up in that instance. And Taylor made a close error. 4-6. Fritz serving the backhand of Mensik. Jakub hits a clean return right onto the baseline. He's got a pretty good backhand return. Then they trade some cross-court forehands. Again, Mensik does well in the forehand-to-forehand exchange because he's able to earn a ball from Fritz that is soft enough that he can then change the pattern. He takes a middle forehand into the ad court, and again, Jakub has the point where he wants it on the ad side. Fritz hits a backhand cross court. Mensik takes the first one immediately down the line, and Fritz on the run misses a very makeable running forehand that he hits in the net. He shouldn't have missed this one, but it was still exactly the pattern that Mensik wants. Get Fritz to hit a backhand cross court, and I change direction with my backhand down the line. That is Mensik's most deadly pattern, and he was really good about trying to get into that. So that's the first takeaway, that Mensik was really good in these points at setting the pattern with his forehand and then using the backhand down the line. The second takeaway is that Fritz played pretty risk-averse, going with pace into Mensik's forehand, hoping that would be enough. Didn't have much else in the bag, didn't have much else to offer, and Mensik's forehand stood tall. There you go. There you have it. That decided the match. Now, some bigger picture stuff. Mensik's serve continues to be a total monster. He came into this match averaging 130 miles per hour on the first serve, 60% unreturned, 86% first serve points won. Then in this match, he maintained that clip. He hit 25 aces, which was a 3-set career high. He made 72% of his first serves. He was at 60% unreturned against Taylor, so maintaining his tournament average. And that has been such a safety blanket for Mensik here in Miami. I mean, we've seen it in the men's game. If you're going to dominate with your serve, you don't need to be perfect everywhere else. You just need to be okay. You just need to be passable in certain other aspects of your game to allow you to find the odd break of serve here and there and all that. Now, I will say, if you're not breaking serve and you're just a hold machine, it helps to be awesome in tie breaks. And, I mean, my goodness, Mensik, tour level in his career in tie breaks after winning the 2 against Fritz is now 28-13. I mean, that is brushing up around 70%. So that's really eye-popping. And for somebody who holds a lot, being a good tiebreak player is just so critical. And it appears early signs is that Mensik is. Now, the last thing I'll mention is that Fritz's return strategy was a little bit puzzling. In his quarterfinal against Matteo Berrettini, he stood up on the baseline and he blocked a lot of returns. Not all of them, but on the forehand, he was basically always blocking. For the match against Berrettini, he blocked 34% of his returns. Against Mensik, he stood deeper and he decided to drive the returns. He blocked 9%, only 9%. And here's why that's a little bit confusing to me. By the way, I mean, I think Taylor's a great tactician. I think his coach, Michael Russell, is pure awesomeness. Paul Anacone, same for him, who's in the kind of consultor, more of a consultant's role with them. Taylor, I'm curious he might be asked about it. I'm curious to see what he says. The reason why I'm a little bit puzzled by that approach is because Berrettini has one of the great pace-generating forehands. No matter if the ball is high or low, if you give him time on the forehand, Matteo is able to produce damage. It's one of the great strengths of his game. Mensik, on his forehand, he struggles in that department, especially if the ball is low. He's got a very, very flat forehand, one of the flattest, and it's not a shot that it can be big when he gets his body weight into it, but it's not a shot you are particularly afraid of. So if you're not afraid of the forehand, normally a player is more inclined to just block it back and trust that you're going to be able to use your defense and your scrambling against that +1 forehand to involve yourself in these neutral rallies. Taylor didn't do that. It was almost like he implemented a more aggressive return strategy in driving instead of chipping, which is odd because I think Berrettini demands a higher quality of return, whereas Mensik not necessarily, just try to make it and go from there. So Fritz was driving. He didn't do a lot of guessing, and I think Mensik's serve deserves more respect than that. If you're not going to guess and you're not going to block, it's going to be hard to make a lot. Now, Novak Djokovic is another story with his return, and that's going to be, a key matchup to look out for in the final is Mensik's serve against Djokovic's return. But for Taylor, he did not come up with any answers, and I am surprised by the tactics. That's all I got. Plenty more to talk about. I want to do kind of a big picture assessment of Jakub Mensik's game. I'll do that on Monday Match Analysis, and I'll probably make a little Instagram reel about that as well. So make sure you're following me on Instagram @GillGross_. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.